Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe that GSD, that intellectual capacity is evenly spread, but opportunities are not. And today on GSD Presents Top Global Startups, I've got an incredible guest. Lisa Layzell is a co-founder and CEO of Robotics 3D Technology, a groundbreaking spinout from the University of Liverpool. Lisa is an award-winning serial entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience leading organizations across biotech, engineering, cloud computing, and robotics. She scaled multiple startups from inception to successful exits, and also served as an honorary professor at the University of Liverpool School of Engineering. At Robotics 3D, Lisa is leading the charge in reinventing road maintenance with autonomous potholes. Oh, we all know about those potholes. I hate when that happens, especially on El Camino Real, where I am right now, near Stanford. And she's doing autonomous pothole detection, prevention, and repair, bringing safer, greener, and smarter infrastructure to the cities of the future. Today, we're going to be diving into Lisa's entrepreneur journey, the technology behind her company, and her vision for how intelligent automation can transform infrastructure worldwide. Hi, Lisa. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Gary. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You know, you've been described as a serial entrepreneur with a career spanning biotech, engineering, cloud computing, and robotics. What first drew you into technology entrepreneurship?
It's a good question. It's all unplanned. I think people often ask me that question. Did you plan your career this way? The answer is no. I think I just followed the flow. I think life took me on different directions and ventures, throughout my career. So yeah, I started out as a biologist, scientist, working in pharma, in biotech, and then got married, and my husband was an inventor, engineer, and he got me into initially into robotics, but that was many years ago. And so I've come a full way round back into robotics again now, but with AI this time. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
So, how did your cross-industry background prepare you for founding Robotics 3D?
Yeah, so first of all, it's pronounced robotized, and there's a funny story. So we wanted to register robotized, but someone's already got the name, so we decided that we could flip the E to the other side. It looks like a 3, and 3D printing is there's an element in our technology, so we kind of spell it that way. And many of our marketing advisors are telling us that how you spell your company is forcing people to pronounce it Robotics 3D.
I've gone down through that, Lisa. I've been involved in marketing. I've worked with over 3,000 companies, right? And started the top accelerator in Russia, here in Silicon Valley, from $0 to $1 billion exit. And, so I remember the course at Stanford. It was called storytelling. And it's critically important to keep it simple, because if they can't pronounce a name, what happens is they just pass it by. And it's a simple thing, but you want to, and I'm a psychologist too. You want to make sure that they're able to remember it, and keep, the KISS principle, right? Keep it simple.
Yeah. So we're working on that still, but it's robotized, and it's a spin out from the university, and it started initially as a research project. So so I was for a number of years, I was an honorary professor there, and 2 of my brilliant co-founders of Robotized were also senior lecturers at the university. And there was a very interesting project that I got involved with, my co-founders initiated, and that was to 3D print large infrastructure using swarm technology and computerized small computers rather than the big industrial-sized printer installed onto a frame, which restrict the size and height you could print. So, the research project is all about turning the idea upside down rather than building bigger and bigger industrial-sized 3D printers. We're building really, really small, tiny little ones, using computer vision and swarm technology so that all the computers can collaborate on the work inside. They can self-climb. They know each other's location at any point in time. They can communicate with each other. They can self-climb. So there's no need for scaffolding, that sort of thing. So that was the research project, and it's called Unframed. And when I joined the university was just starting a big enterprise agenda. Really started to focus on pushing high quality research into the real world, tackling real world problems. So the research project lasted 3 years, and that was the end of that. And so it happens that in the UK, Innovate UK, there was a call by Innovate UK around 2020, 2021 about road maintenance. And we look at the research results that we've generated and the know-how, the patents, etc. And I thought, hang on a minute, we might be a bit far away from printing high-rise buildings and bridges, etc. However, we could apply these technology to road maintenance. And we know that, potholes have become a pandemic. We know that the roads are aging and coupled with climate change and more EVs on our roads. I mean, our roads were not built for heavier traffic. EVs are 40%. Is it heavier than?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues. People don't realize with EV, there's a lot of things, including the potholes. And by the way, the batteries get warm, right? And people don't understand the heaters.
Yes. So there's a big problem in terms of sort of the safety and sort of a long-lasting infrastructure, and there was also the labor shortage, all kinds of things. So the traditional way of managing road assets and maintaining the road is no longer working, and we know that for a fact. And in the UK, it's just firefighting, and it just every day there's news about potholes, about people being injured or car being damaged. I think in the US, I read some figures about $26.5 billion every year insurance companies pay out to pothole related car damages, things like that.
Well, so right here where I am right now, right from Stanford, a few blocks from Stanford, and the road here on El Camino Real, there's a car dealership here that has very expensive sports cars, and the hole was so bad, the potholes in front of that exact dealership were so bad, it would be impossible to take a car out for a test drive because it would bottom out. You can't take Ferraris and McLarens and those kind of, you can't, you bottom out. I did with car. It's crazy. And so this problem, I get it. It's a big problem. So how did, so you were a spin out from University of Liverpool. One of the challenge people have, Lisa, is they have IP issues. You get into a university, and I've done it a lot myself. There's IP issues, and sometimes it's really hard to solve them. Right? Because they want a percentage of the company, or they want to hold the rights, and you just license it. How did you deal with it?
We actually gone through a hell of a journey to kind of build the company, clean up its structure to its current state. We did come across that issue, but the university has been very supportive. I have to say that, we, did kind of reconstructed the cap table in year 3 to ensure that the company's cap table is more palatable to incoming investors, etc. I think university is learning, and it's learning very fast, and it's have the will to change and to become more commercial. I think we are the beneficiaries of that. Previously, I think it's been really tough, really hard. I think especially in the UK, but I think we're moving in the right direction now. But it has been a journey for us, and all the problems you mentioned we experienced. Yes, but we're in the right place now.
You know, it was interesting because I built a company in the UK, and in fact, I lived near Paddington Station, South Sussex Mews, in one of the manor houses over there. And I built this company, and I was I was going down through and raising money. And one of the things that was interesting when I was raising it, the valuations were dramatically less in the U.S. So we're about a third, and the BS that I had to put up with, going to the pubs on Friday and Saturday and curry and all this stuff. Like, we don't do that here. It's different.
Yeah,
I was with Tim Draper yesterday and the day or 2 days ago and the day before, and it's like we move fast, right? And
yeah.
how do you deal with that? Because I have a number of companies from the UK inside of GSD right now, and we always have this, and it's not just the UK, just so we're all on the same page. If you're in Miami, if you're in Slovenia or Slovakia or Germany, same problem. The valuations are lower, they're a lot slower, and a lot less capital you're going to get, right? They invest a lot less. How do you do that?
Yeah. So with great difficulty, in fact, we the last round where we closed in June this year, the money came from the US because it's just become impossible to raise proper money here and to compete on world stage. You're right in terms of valuations. Is a lot lower here. We participated in a global accelerator program last year, hosted by CRH Ventures. We got into I think there were 150 applicants globally. We got into the top 20 initially, and then we got into the last 8. And CRH Ventures kindly paid for us to fly out to the US to do the final pitch. There we met similar innovative companies, and one of them were in the same space that we were, different technology, etc. And they said, last week we just closed another $6 million. And I was there just shocked. I was like, why are you here? This is like for startups, and we've been bootstrapping and God knows what, you just so easily just closed another $6 million, like another $6 million is a lot, so they've built a similar product to us, and focusing only on that. And we've built that part of the kind of our solution plus a fully autonomous robot, and it's been trialed on UK public roads. And I thought, how did we manage to do so much with so little money? But yes, we are proud of what we have done, but looking ahead, how are we going to survive? How are we going to compete on world stage when other people have we're not saying that you always need a lot of money, but you need the right amount of money to do this stuff there properly. And this is kind of a struggle, especially that in robotics, and there's hardware involved, and people can't run away fast enough as soon as they hear hardware. It's like, how do you scale? It's hardware and all of that. So
companies in GSD, I have one from Denmark that was raising 12, then ended up raising 25 million. Now it's going for 50. And this is in less than a year, right? And I mean, I see it. We have companies now from 73 countries inside of GSD. And that's one of the things we've done in my family office, right? And so there's really 3 things you need: operational expertise, access to capital, networking contacts. And if you have those 3 in a resilient team, you can do it. The other part of it, Lisa, people don't realize that you need to build the story, and you need to have a PR strategic marketing machine inside of the company to take it out. If not, it's like a Ferrari in the garage, like literally.
Yeah, we've just done our strategic narrative review, actually, because we realized that we're not describing the benefits of the solution to the customers, in the most effective way. So just, for example, we're splitting the vision we have is this fully autonomous robot vehicle that can patrol the roads day and night, driverlessly, autonomously, picking up cracks, potholes, automatically assign, its category, severity, and stop to seal cracks if need be, if it kind of meets certain threshold, and also repair potholes. So we're not quite there yet to repair potholes, but we've already done the first phase, which is like detecting the roads and using AI to assign its category and severity, or the sort of analytic side of things, and also build an autonomous robot that can seal cracks autonomously. We wanted to focus more on the stage 1 and stage 2 of the sort of the full maintenance cycle, because we want to shift people's mindset from the reactive fix kind of approach to proactive preventative maintenance. That's really quite hard, because people are fixated to how many potholes I've repaired this year. And when we are saying, no, you need to look at the problem differently. You need to think, like, how many cracks can I prevent from developing into potholes in the first place? So yeah, it's been very interesting. But the when people say a technology is disruptive, it's not really that we've have some breakthrough technology. It's the way we are asking people to change the way they work. They are so used to doing things the traditional way, and suddenly you ask them to change. It's difficult from their kind of fear of, oh, is this going to take away my job, to a bigger problem, which is more of a sort of structural problem with the system, with the procurement system, with the budgeting in the public sector. So yeah, so at Robotics, we believe that potholes should not be an inevitable kind of part of the driving journey, or for cyclists or for pedestrians. And the potholes we see are really just symptoms of a deeper problem, and that is the reactive approach, that waits for the damage that has already caused disruption before you would act on it.
So one of the things we see with so I have 180 companies in GSD right now. They represent 73 countries. I have Harvard MBAs, Stanford MBAs, MIT MBAs, you name it, right? Stockholm School of Economics, from all over the world. But the one thing is, when you're building a company, you get inside of a silo, right? You're so into building a company that you don't have a time to continuously sense the market. One is the investors, high net worth families. By the way, 99% of the wealth is 1% of the population, right? And that 1% of the population can go down through, and I mean, they basically are limited partners in every fund. Most people don't realize it. So I'm in Silicon Valley, but I also live in Palm Beach, and I see it every day. They are the ones that control those VCs. The average VC, Lisa, is between 24 and 34 years old, and they've never built a company. They generally have degrees in finance, only 10%. And you're dealing with people that don't get it, and they've got, their whole thing is they get a management fee and then carry. But the real deal is, how do you take that company and move it forward? It's critically important. So the narrative that you have is not, it's a different than a Silicon Valley narrative that we would have to create a unicorn. And I've done it a few times. Take the narrative and make it so they can feel it in their soul, right? You've got to create an emotional connection. It's not about a pothole. It's about making the world a better place. And let me tell you how we're going to do it. Hi, my name's Lisa. And you start down through and you start storytelling is 90%, but you got to craft the messaging right. And out of the 180 companies that have come to GSD, not one of them, even the one she's done 9 companies, 5 venture-backed exit, and she brought her company into us. And even on her side, as smart as she is, she's still fun. She's in the silo, right? You got to get out. The other thing is, investors are all over the world. So I'll be in Korea next week, and then I'll be in Africa 3 weeks later. People don't realize there's a lot of money in Africa, right? And there's a lot of money that wants to invest in technologies like yours, because they're just started on this journey.
Interesting. Yeah. So I remember talking to a German investor a couple of years back, and he said to me, in robotics, there's only 3 places to raise capital: US, China, the rest of the world. So basically,
it's not, I deal with family offices, so I do a lot of speaking. Yes, 2 days ago I was with Tim Draper, right? I was one of the speakers twice with Tim Draper here, and I'm telling it's different. I've been involved in this stuff for 44 years in the Valley, so you get a lot of contacts, especially if you have a couple of unicorns. So when you want to do it, the model's not on the outside. It looks different than it is in the inside. And so the families, and I deal with a lot of the wealthiest German families without naming them, car families, electronics families, etc. They come to me for deal flow. Why? Because they want qualified deal flow. They want to look at your company. They want to know from the inside out, Lisa, is it real or not? They don't want to, they don't have time. It's like Barry when he wrote Peter Pan, right? The crocodile's time. They don't have time. So they come to us because it's a family office. They're looking at, they want qualified deal flow from people that they trust, right? And so that's how it really works. It's very, very interesting. It's different than what I was dealing with one of the most well-known persons in the UK. And I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to name drop him, but most well-known. And he put me in touch with one of the wealthiest families in Germany, right? And that family had developed the technology that was inside the wheelhouse of what their family does, right? So the family's worth probably $80 billion. It was in the wheelhouse. And the heir said to me, I said, well, why don't you just do it in Germany? And he said to me, because they don't get it like people do in Silicon Valley. They just don't get it.
Yes. Another problem, I think, particularly with, here in the UK trying to raise is that, well, I think you touched on that as well, that the people who are looking at your company don't have the domain knowledge. The questions they frequently ask is like traction, and revenue even better before I will invest. So I would rather, talk to investors. I mean, there are a few who have invested in us and we're very lucky. They ask questions about, in 10 years time, what is your technology still going to be relevant? Are you going to be one of those solutions being implemented in smart cities? Are you still going to be here in 20 years rather than, show me your order book for the next 12 months, 18 months, which is very short-sighted. But unfortunately, the majority of the times we're talking to people who wants to see the order book, rather than looking into the IPs we're building, the moat, that we've built to protect our market positioning.
By the way, my AI is asking questions now, so it's going down.
Okay.
And it tells me it says Lisa, you need to think about how this fits into the broader smart city vision. And it said, I'm not sure how much you've done that, but if we integrate it into a smart city vision, it's going to change the narrative.
Yes, so right now we are pausing the development of the robot because of the regulatory framework. I mean, the UK, the regulatory framework about autonomous vehicles on the road is going to come out 2026, maybe 2027. So we don't want to pour resources into developing this robot when we can't see the shape of the barrier or how high we need to jump. So we are currently focusing in our phase 1 solution, which is focusing on road condition data. We know there is a lot of big data out there, but big data does not equal to high quality data. And when AI is involved, yes, algorithm or that is important, but at the very center of every AI model is data itself. And so at the beginning, we actually said we're not going to go into component level innovation. We just buy everything off the shelf. We're engineers. We integrate everything together. Unfortunately, we tried everything under the sun and, all sorts of sensors, LiDARs, and high quality cameras. None of them would give us the quality of data we need to make sure it's not garbage in, garbage out of our AI model. So we now have a dedicated built sensor. We have our patent granted in the UK in June. We're pursuing patent in the US, Japan, and other parts of the world. So now everybody who does similar things would be infringing our patent. So building IP is obviously critical for a company like ours. So we're focusing on data, and yet we're not selling the equipment. We have a data as a service model where we charge people per lane kilometer scan or per lane mile scanned. So it's a consumption-based model, and we take away that barrier, adoption barrier, where people have to fork out big money to capital to buy the equipment. And so we loan the equipment to the customer. They just drive, and we get in recurring revenue. And there is no ceiling, because roads need to be surveyed month after month and month, and from those data we can build out the deterioration model of the road surface. We can help the asset managers and municipalities, road authorities to plan ahead of their maintenance. And we know that, for example, 75% of the cracks evolve into potholes pretty quickly. And if you can seal those cracks early, it's like, scanning our health. If you do a health check and you find some minor issues and you take early intervention, they won't evolve into life-threatening problems later and costly to repair too. So that's what we're focusing right now. And in future smart cities and future road maintenance, we believe will be data-driven. So data is very important, and we want to help road authorities to get high quality data, that actionable data as well. And our data is not just comprehensive, AI driven, but also it's near real time. So you don't have to wait for months to wait for some software to do the post processing and to give you the output, and you can almost in real time know what where to prioritize your resources and which areas that you need to do what type of repairing, whether it's just a simple crack sealing or pothole filling or resurfacing or complete reconstruction. So there is different stages you need to go into, but those decisions currently are being made based on experience. So they're subjective, but we want those decisions to be data driven in the future.
My AI, so I have 14 of them working as a think tank. It just wrote me, I have some ideas. It just wrote me just now. It's listened to the conversation. It's already figuring it out. Just FYI.
Fantastic.
It's at that level. Anyhow, listen, we're coming to the top of the show. Closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you, Lisa?
People can write to me at lisa.layzell@robotics.com. So our mission is to try to create a pathway towards proactive road maintenance through dimensional understanding and all the way to autonomous prevention.
And how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way? LinkedIn or website?
LinkedIn is fine. Yeah. We have a web, sort of a generic email address, which is hello@robotics.com, or just email me directly, lisa.layzell@robotics.com.
That sounds great. And if you want to stay on for a few minutes afterwards, we can talk. Thanks to all my audience for joining one more time. GSD presents Top Global Startups. And thanks to all of you. We're closing in on 1.6 million views. We've got nearly 1,500 podcasts today. And it's thanks to all of you. Thank you. So stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.